What's up guys? Today I'm talking about my most anticipated video games of 2019 because we're about halfway through the year now, so what's left to come out in 2019? Of course, that does limit my video game choices because Cyberpunk 2077, for example, comes out next year, although that is my most anticipated game. So yeah, that's not on this list, neither are a bunch of other things like Last of Us Part 2. Only games with official release dates of 2019. So let's get straight into it. First up, Gears 5. So I like the Gears of War franchise. I actually think that the franchise as a whole doesn't get enough recognition or attention that it deserves. I think it is a really good franchise. I like the last one, Gears 4, which is the first one made by the Coalition. They nailed the fundamentals and the basics of it. It had a good story with good characters. Now I want to see where they're going to take the franchise because they can't just do another Gears game. I want them to be like, this is what Gears is going to be for now on. I want them to expand on it, to add to it. So how are they going to do that? We know there's going to be an escape mode that looks fun, but is that really going to be the big selling point of this game? I don't think so. But the game looks gorgeous. It looks like it's more fun, action-packed Gears gameplay. I'm interested to see where the story goes. We're playing as Kate Diaz this time around. Last time we were playing as Marcus Phoenix's son, whose name I'm forgetting right now. So it's interesting how they're changing characters, shifting the story to focus more on her this time around. I'm interested to see where that goes. But again, I hope they just add something and make it a little different from past Gears to say that this isn't just another Gears of War game. So next up we have The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. Now I'm not a Legend of Zelda guy. I don't dislike the games, they're just not for me. I struggle to click with them, to get into them, and I don't know the whole deep lore and anything really about the larger franchise of it. But this game, when it was revealed, just blew my mind. The way this game looks, the art design is gorgeous. The actual animations look gorgeous. It looks like they're putting so much care and attention into it, and people who loved the original, I think it was the Game Boy version of it, are really interested in this. So I'm keeping an eye on this. I know this game is more puzzle focused than RPG focused in comparison to other Zelda games, so that's got me a little more interested in it. I do like RPGs, by the way. It's just, for some reason, the Zelda type ones and games like Elder Scrolls and Fallout don't really do much for me. But ultimately, I never played the original. This one does look like a lot of fun. It looks like a good entry point to Zelda, so I might check this out when it comes out. Next up is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Sadly, not the Tom Clancy franchise I wanted to be coming out this year or anytime soon. I'm much more of a Splinter Cell fan, but hey, don't know what's happening with that franchise. But this one, I never played Wildlands. I was interested in it for a little while in what Wildlands was, but it didn't really review too well. It just looked like it was more or less repeating the same thing over and over again, which isn't my cup of tea. But this one looks like it's much more about survival. It's gritty, in your face, visceral. It's much more realistic, much more of like a third person action game rather than... It's not to say that the last one wasn't a third person action game, it was obviously, but this one looks like it's more character and story focused to an extent. So that's got my interest already. So we know, for example, if you get shot in the leg, you're going to end up limping. You're going to need to have bandages and wrap yourself up. You need to focus on your supplies. It's really interesting how they're doing that. It hasn't really been done in other Tom Clancy games before. It's reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, but in that game, the injuries and all that lot, well, good and fun. There were times where it's like a little tedious, like, oh, I've got another broken leg that I've got to deal with now. So hopefully they can figure out that and make it less arduous and less intrusive on the actual gameplay. But John Bernthald's in this as well. John Bernthal, a really good actor, the Punisher himself. So that's interesting, a good get in there. I don't think he's going to actually sell this game. I don't think people are going to buy this game just because John Bernthal's in there. But maybe they will. Why else would he be there? But yeah, I never played the original. The original did interest me, but then the reviews were mixed. This one looks a bit more interesting to me. It looks more focused on story and characters. If it's dependent on the story of the original, I don't think I'm going to pick it up because, again, I haven't played that one. But yeah, that's on my list. Next up is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Yes, the new reboot of Modern Warfare. A reboot of the Call of Duty franchise to an extent, it seems. So I've got to be honest, I'm not a Call of Duty fan. In fact, I kind of hate the franchise. I hate how it's essentially just releasing the same game every year, it seems, with a few tweaks here and there, and a fresh coat of paint, and new look, new locations, and all that. I know big Call of Duty franchise fans are going to hate the fact that I've said that, but yeah, I'm well aware that it's not exactly the same game every year. There are differences, but you know what I mean by that. So this one being a reboot, the fact that it is getting more realistic, the fact that it is focusing on the story and the political climate in the world, and that it is going to be pushing boundaries and trying to be controversial, hopefully in a good way. Hopefully that it's not being controversial for the sake of being controversial. Hopefully it's being controversial for an actual purpose. It's actually got a message and a meaning and a good story to back that up. But yeah, all of this really makes me like, wow, I should pay attention to this Call of Duty game. It's not just another Call of Duty game. It looks like they're trying something different. So yeah, that's really got me interested as someone who does not like Call of Duty. Of course, this won't be for everyone. It has been getting some mixed responses. Some of the controversy in the trailers and the footage has got some people like, oh, I do not like this, I do not want this. Because on one hand, yes, you're going through these locations, you are shooting terrorists and so on, but then there's player choice in there, the fact that you can also shoot other people, and the fact that the gameplay relies on you having fun from shooting and killing people, and then on the story front, it's trying to be controversial, it's trying to be cutting edge. They don't always mesh well, so player choice can disrupt the narrative element of it there, and it could make it even more controversial. But yeah, ultimately, this game, it is a reboot. It feels like they're doing something different. They're not just doing another Call of Duty game, and that's why I'm interested in this. Next up is The Outer Worlds, not to be confused with The Outer Wilds, a great game that came out earlier this year. So this is the next game from Obsidian Entertainment, and it looks like a Fallout game set in space on alien planets, but it looks like a Fallout game without all the problems of being a Fallout game, because as we know, Bethesda and Fallout games, they're usually released with bugs and glitches and a few issues and problems here and there, particularly the latest one, Fallout 76, but let's not get into that. This looks like it's doing a Fallout-like game, almost exactly like a Fallout game, but without some of the hitches, without some of the problems associated with that. And the reason I know that is because people have been coming up and saying that it doesn't have these problems based on their gameplay demos and what they've seen. Of course, these gameplay demos, probably polished and smoothed out, it could be a very different story when the game actually releases. But it looks like fun. It's science fiction, it's RPG, it's action packed, it's got interesting worlds and locations. I'm already curious about this game. The trailers look like a whole lot of fun. The fact that it is tongue in cheek in places, it has got a sense of humour about it. That's really interesting to me. However, it is an RPG, it is an Obsidian game. I don't know how long this game's going to be, but I imagine it's going to be really expansive, really large, really big. I'm just hoping I have time to play it because it's coming out in the fall of this year, surrounded by a bunch of other games coming out, and yeah, hopefully I've got time to actually give it a go. I have got Game Pass, it is coming to Game Pass, so I will have it anyway. But yeah, I just need to figure out when and where I'm going to play it. The last game I'm going to talk about is Death Stranding, Hideo Kojima's latest game. I love Hideo Kojima. I think he's one of the greatest game designers and great game directors ever. So already I was in. However, all of the trailers and footage leading up to the actual big reveal and release date of this game had me scratching my head because I couldn't work out what this game was. Was it even that far into development? Turns out, yeah, this game's coming out this year. I wasn't expecting it till at least next year, maybe even the year after. So the fact that they got this has me wondering, how long is this game? Is it going to be a big game? Is it going to be a short game? How polished is this game? I don't know. It's Hideo Kojima, so chances are it's not going to be too glitchy or buggy or anything. But yeah, this has got me all curious, the fact that it's coming out this year, this early. But I do have faith in Kojima. And it was the final trailer that released earlier, couple of months ago now, I think it was, that really won me over. The fact that it detailed the story and the characters and it showed you some of the gameplay at long last. We know it's a third-person adventure game. You are on some sort of journey across America. It looks like you're transporting something across America for the sake of humanity. You've got all these big stars in there as well. Norman Reedus, Mads Mikkelsen. I'm hoping they don't detract or distract away from this game, because you can be like, when you're looking at a game and you've got a big star face in there, be like, oh, it's that guy. and you're not actually paying attention to the story or the characters anymore. You're just paying attention to how good that guy looks in a video game. So hopefully that's not distracting. But it's also interesting how you've also got Guillermo del Toro and Nicholas Winding Refn in there, but they're voiced by different people. That's going to be odd, especially when Guillermo del Toro, for example, has a very distinct voice. So are they going to be mimicking his voice? I don't know. So yeah, the big names and stars in this game could be a little bit of a problem, I think, but maybe not. But again, the story looks interesting, the gameplay looks good, but again, how much is there actually going to be in this game? Hideo Kojima, known for his cutscenes, particularly Metal Gear Solid 4, long cutscenes, some of them cutscenes, a couple of hours long. So is this more of a cinematic experience? Is it more of a game? I don't know yet. And because it's coming out so early, again, does this suggest that it's going to be a smaller scale game? Is it going to be more focused, or is it going to be more open? Again, there's a lot of things we still don't know about this game, and that kind of sums up everything about this game in a way that we don't know things about it. So much about this game has been shrouded in mystery and so confusing and odd, but it's still captivating and interesting. But again, it's a Hideo Kojima game. I have faith in Hideo Kojima. So, those are my most anticipated games of 2019. What are your most anticipated games of 2019? Leave them down in the comments of feedback below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. You can also give me a thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. You can also go over to Twitter and Instagram and follow me at _Grant Burton. But really, any sort of support would be much appreciated. And until next time, thanks for watching.